This is Canon EOS 1300D. It is an APS-C sensor DSLR camera, and this came out 5 years ago. And you can do everything with this. You can take photos, video, and it does a pretty good job. And you can get this camera for around $400 with a kit lens. And the setup that I'm shooting right now, which is Canon EOS R with a 10mm lens and a Rode mic on top of it to get this image and this sound. This setup will cost you around $3,500 to $4,000, and that's a lot of money. But these two cameras have three things in common, and not just these two cameras, any camera in the world, whether it was released 20 years ago, 2 days ago, or 2 months ago, it doesn't matter. They all follow these three things, which is ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. Now if you're thinking, I don't have a camera, I don't need to watch this video. Well, if you ask someone who take a lot of photos with your smartphone, all of these things will apply to that. You can take much better photos, you can take much better videos using these three things. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So what is shutter speed? And I'll explain it to you this way. First we'll talk about shutter, then we'll talk about shutter speed. So shutter is like a main coverage in front of your main sensor of the camera which take actual picture and videos. And shutter speed is the duration, how long that shutter will stay open to let the light in your main sensor to take a picture. And why it's important? Let's say you want to take a picture of a car on a road and it's moving pretty fast. So you grab your phone, you open the camera app, and you just take a picture without changing any settings. And 95% chances are it's gonna be blurry. That car will not be in focus. And why is that? Because your shutter speed is not high enough to freeze that car in a moment. To fix that problem, all you need to do is bump your shutter speed up to 1/600 or 1/700, and that is 600th of a second. And that's pretty fast, and that speed you need to freeze that car, to freeze that motion in your frame instantly to make it really crispy and sharp. And if you follow this method, you can get results like this. But if you're shooting portraits or headshots and nothing is moving in your frame, you need to stick with 1/100 or 1/200 for better results. And if you are a nerd like me, you follow a lot of photography pages on Instagram and Facebook, you might have seen these images. And you're wondering, that's so cool, how to do that? Well, those types of photos are called long exposure photos. Instead of using the high shutter speed, people use very low shutter speed, and it ranges from 1/60th of a second to 30 seconds. And yes, your camera can take 30 seconds to take a picture, and that's how you end up with results like this. I hope we are clear on shutter speed now, but if you still have any question, do let me know in the comment section. Second, what is aperture? An aperture is a hole or an opening through which light travels in a lens. The wider the aperture, the more light will come in. The narrower the aperture, less light will come in. Aperture commonly refers as f-stop in a lenses. For example, f1.2, f1.8, f4, all the way up to 22 and more. But the main question is how to use it in photography. And let's start with an example again. Suppose you're in a studio or in your home or anywhere in the world, it doesn't matter, and you want to take a picture of something. Maybe it's your friend, maybe it's a product photography or anything like that. So you grab your camera, you make your composition and you take a picture. And it's looking pretty good. Your friend is in focus, your product is in focus, but so is everything else. And you just want to focus this product or your friend and make everything else blurry. And that's when aperture comes in. If you want to blur everything and just focus on your friend or your subject, you need to use wide apertures like 1.2, 1.8, basically anything below 2.8. Lower the number of f-stop, the shallower the depth of field gonna be. But, and there will always be a but in photography. Let's say you want to take a picture of a landscape, so you have to use the widest angle lens you have to shoot the entire landscape in its entirety. But you also have to use higher aperture like 10, 20, 22 or even higher than that to focus everything in your landscape to make it more crispy and sharp. You can use lower f-stop like 1.2, 1.8 or 2.8, but you'll notice in your images, in your landscape, if you shoot at lower f-stops, that everything is not in focus. There is only one part in focus and everything else in blurry. Mostly your corners, they will be more pixelated and more blurry. The whole experience of your landscape will not be that much pleasing. But if you shoot on higher aperture, everything will be in focus in your landscapes and you can end up with results like this. And the last and third thing is ISO. ISO is basically the main sensor ability to react to light. Think of it as like a fake light in your scenes. The higher the ISO, the more grainier your images will look. The lower the ISO, the more sharper and clean your images will look. And this is how ISO works. It all depends upon which camera you're using or which phone you're using. Some cameras have great capability to shoot at night without introducing any grains, and Sony mirrorless cameras are great example for that. So this is how shutter speed, ISO and aperture works together to give you the best results. And remember, together is the keyword here. You can't use one thing correctly and expect for the good results. You have to use all three things correctly to get you the results you desire. And I hope you're clear on that. So that's it from my side, guys. Now go out and shoot whatever you want. A moving car or a friend in your living room or a landscape. Just remember to use correct settings. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section and I'll answer all of them. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video.